Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the October tarot card readings, I wanted to make a super small announcement. I'm doing a test launch on a new little website that I'm putting together where there's only just going to be a couple of products on there for right now. Just a place for me to share some of my favorite things. So for right now, I'm introducing my ritual boxes, or as I'm calling them, my spell boxes. These are going to be dedicated to manifesting or healing love, like romantic love energy, or for attracting good fortune into your life. Each box is going to include a beautiful white marble smudge bowl with spell matches, a hand-mixed herbal smudge, sea salt and herbal bath, crystals, a candle, handcrafted anointing oil that I poured during the waxing moon, as well as a detailed instruction booklet, which I'm currently writing, which is why I'm not going to be shipping out until late next month. This will also come with a 3-card tarot reading that I'll be writing out and including in your box as well. These are available for pre-order only, and as this is just a soft launch, things won't be shipping out until the end of October, early November, and only within the United States until I figure out how shipping works, because I have no idea. So the link will be down in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and check it out. For now, let's move into the reading. Thank you. Hi Gemini, welcome to your October 2019 tarot card reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Jane. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's take a look and see what your energy is going to be, okay, as we make our way through the rest of Libra season and into Scorpio season. Gemini, specifically, what energy are you exhibiting here? Okay, wonderful. Queen of Cups. Beautiful. I'm not getting too many queens this month. I got to be honest with you. I started off the reading a little differently, by pulling just a court card, and it's mostly been like pages and knights. So this is actually a really mature quality that's coming to the table here. There's emotional availability, but also emotional, protectiveness. I think on some level, the change that Gemini has been asked to go through. Let's not forget that it's not just about Pluto and Saturn in the 8th house, but y'all also have Uranus in the house of your subconscious. So these are like Pluto and Uranus specifically major planets of change, right? And they change in different kind of ways. And so Gemini is probably the one, right, the sign of all the other signs that is going through the most massive revision. In my humble opinion, for whatever that's worth, the most massive revision in your scripting, your psychology, if I could talk, and like so many different other areas. And because you've had this build up for so long, and it's now finally happening, I think there's, that quality of like, yes, I can be there for you. Yes, I can care about you. Yes, I can love you. But I still have a lot going on in here too, so I can only be there for you when you really can't be there for yourself. But most of the time, I really need you to be there for yourself. So if you are cross-watching for a Gemini and they just kind of aren't there for you, it's time for you to like take your power back and say, okay, well, my Gemini is going through their stuff. I need to make my own path, okay? And they're probably really demanding a lot of independence from the people around them. Because not that they don't have a lot to give, because yes, of course, Gemini, you do, right? You do have so much to give, but it's not about giving right now. It's just not. It's not about giving. It's not about self-sacrificing. It's not about, showing up for other people. It's about what you can do for yourself, really. And the more and more you nurture yourself, the more and more, by default, you are in turn nurturing other people. Okay, so it's really important for you to realize the power of the astrological transits right now, to realize that things really are up in the air, and there are going to be a lot of feelings of fragmentation, especially over the course of the next few months, and maybe even a feeling of I don't know where this is going, I don't see an end or whatever. and to just kind of have faith in the whole process, okay? Because it is a process. Unfortunately, we are tethered by time, right? Because our minds can go there like immediately. Our minds can jump forward, jump backward, go wherever they need to go, right? Our consciousness can be wherever it needs to be, but it's the confines, that Saturnian confines of still being a human being, right? Still being tethered to the earth and the time frame of the earth. So let's take a look at a major arcana card, starting the readings off a little differently, with focusing specifically on, you know, a court card for the person I'm reading for, which is you, Gemini, and then a major arcana to represent the environment. All right, so what is the environment? Oh, card of Gemini. It's kind of Gemini's domain right now, probably, right? If you have got a Gemini in your life, it's probably like their game at this point. And a lot of communication. We know that we have a Mercury retrograde coming up. I think we're all kind of feeling a lot of the foreshadowing going on of like all this Mercury and Scorpio stuff. Mercury is going to be in Scorpio for a long time. So it's going to give us ample opportunity to really speak our truth and to come in contact with our truth at first. So you're probably going to feel a lot of that stuff kind of bubbling up. You have a lot of fifth house activity in Libra season, right? You've got Mars just entered into Libra. We still have the sun in there. Venus is finishing her transit out. And that's all creativity and romance, but also connectivity. I like to see fifth house as like working with people and being connected and being in your community and your home environment and with the people that you love. And Gemini, I think that the time is really, really good for you to start inviting healthy connections into your life. If you're someone who has been, you know, kind of been through the ringer, especially romantically or in terms of business partnerships, this is a time when those tides are really changing and it's going to start working in your favor, where if you are a good person, right, then good things will start coming to you and quality individuals will start coming to you as well. So I do think, Gemini, you can feel the tide turning. It might not happen right away, but you can sense that things are starting to shift and it's happening in a big way, and you are happening in a big way. And if you haven't felt like you've been stepping into your real potential, that's going to also start changing. When Gemini steps into their power, it's like, look out, right? Geminis can be extraordinarily powerful. They can climb the ladders really, really fast. And I think that those of you who are wanting that kind of thing for yourself and haven't seen it in your life yet, you're probably going to start being like, all right, let's go. It's time. You're going to feel that switch really flipping. Oh, and the Hermit card. And I think this is what you've needed, you know, and the next few months are, I'm looking at your stars right now, sorry. The next few months as we await Jupiter to move into Capricorn, right, which is 8th house, as we go through the Scorpio season, I think there's kind of like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon quality with you guys, right? Like ready to pounce, but you also know it's not quite the time. The thing about all major arcana is that it's kind of based on faith and surrender. And the more and more we try to control things, the less and less control we actually have. So when it comes to the Lovers, which can be a romantic union, yes, absolutely. It can be a business partnership, yes, sure. But it can also be unity within oneself. It can also represent, you know, that conversation you've been wanting to have. It can represent the choice that you've been waiting to have as well. Or the time is right for you to make the choice that you're already facing. So there's a lot of like things coming to a head right now, and yet you somehow are maintaining that Capricorn wisdom. 8th house and Capricorn, very interesting combination, because it is very wise. It is very old soul, right? To have Saturn, the old man, moving through your house of change and transformation gives you that like really high level, like, you know, quality of understanding. So here it's about waiting and knowing when the time is right and knowing when it's not the right time. And if you're sitting there like, Jane, I have no idea what you're talking about, I don't know when the right time is, it's not the time. That's all it is, right? If you're questioning it, then it's not the time. And Gemini, you might be a little evasive for a lot of people right now, like I was saying with the Queen of Cups, it's so much more about you being in a receptive mode rather than in like a giving mode. Kind of being a little bit, I don't like to use the word selfish so much, but hopefully you know what I mean, like self-geared. And, but it's for the benefit of everybody else. If you're dealing with a Gemini and they've gone MIA on you, thank your lucky stars, because when they come back into your life, it's going to be really to your benefit as well. See, I think Gemini, you're just sorting out the details right now. You're waiting for the dust to settle, and you're waiting for the right moment to pounce. Maybe that's really what this whole month is. It's just kind of a waiting period till you know when it's going to be that moment of like the big decision. Some of you making major career changes, some of you making major decisions about your relationships, like a divorce or getting married, right? Either way. Some of you are deciding, is it time for kids or is it not time for kids? Is it time for me to like buy that big house and make that big commitment or not, right? So you're really faced with a lot of those larger things in life. And you're being asked to step it up in some way, shape, or form. I'm feeling very Gemini-like. Sometimes with your readings, like as a Virgo, right, opposite Mercury rulership, it like goes so kind of all over the place. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. A lot of times I don't follow the Gemini readings for myself. Just simply because of the nature of your energy is so foreign to me, and I have Chiron in Gemini. So hopefully it makes sense. I can only go with the way the cards pull me, though. You know, I don't see obstacles unless they are perceived obstacles. Like if you're sitting there and saying, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z reasons, you might really need to reconsider those X, Y, and Z reasons and say, is it really because of those things or just because I'm looking for an excuse to stay the same? Change is inevitable, guys. Uranus in the 12th, it's inescapable. Change and revolution and revision and transformation, like it is inescapable, especially for you. And the more and more you try to come up with reasons why you can't do it, the more and more stuck you're going to feel, the more and more harsh you're going to be with yourself, the more and more harsh is going to be with you, more and more harsh life is going to be with you. And the more and more frustrated you'll be. If you do not flow at this time, as we see with the Queen of Cups, if you do not flow, you're going to probably really feel the effects of your rigidity. Okay, let's talk about the Queen of Cups just a little bit more. She is representative of the sign of Cancer, which is cardinal water. So for a mutable air sign coming out as a cardinal water sign, okay, that is quite a difference in your modus operandi, right? It's quite a difference. This I often see as a deluge, right? Major rainfall. I often see it as that quality, just cardinal water beginning the flow of, you know, the water process, right? The rain comes down from the clouds, goes into the ocean, or from the mountaintops down the rivers and goes through the whole thing. And anytime there's a barrier, it just simply goes around the barrier, right? It's not like there is no obstacle so great that a cardinal water energy cannot bypass. I mean, that's got to be a huge barrier, right? So don't play the game with yourself that all these little things are all reasons why you can't do it, because probably none of those even really make sense and you're just looking for reasons to justify your fear, okay? See, strength. Yeah, of course, strength. Of course, because you're being called up the way you have been and the way I know you can feel it. You're being called up. You're being asked to step up and to live into all your newfound knowledge. That's one of the hardest things about the Hermit is like, it's great to just have the knowledge, but it's the act of living in your wisdom and practicing what you preach, right? If you're going to preach compassion, you have to actually be compassionate. If you're going to preach unity, you have to be understanding and accepting of everybody else, right? You can't preach it and then still be prejudiced against certain things or certain people or whatever, right? it's that hypocrisy that I see a lot of people stepping out of, because they're like, oh damn, like I can't sit here and say this stuff and then not do it myself. And I think that this, strength card is really you, Gemini, saying, I can't be a hypocrite anymore, or I can't tell people not to be afraid and then be afraid myself, So there's a lot of internal reflection going on, and that's powerful for anybody. But for a mutable air who is so flexible as it is, I don't know. I just see, I don't think we've seen the best of Gemini at this point. I think, Gemini, you are going to be surprising yourself month after month after month in the upcoming year. And it's just the stakes are going to get higher, and you're going to feel stronger, and you're going to feel more empowered and more self-love and more self-worth. And it just is going to keep going higher and higher and higher. But you have to have the strength and the courage, especially sometimes I wish this was a card of courage. If I ever make my own, I actually already made my own tarot deck, but if I ever create a new tarot deck, this is probably going to be the card of courage rather than strength, because I think sometimes, I don't know, I just think it's a better description of it. And then we have the Four of Cups, which is a little bit of, first of all, it's emotional maturity. Sometimes it's emotional indifference as well, and not committing. See, this is what I'm saying. If you're faced with a choice and you don't know what choice to choose no choice, right? The Lovers, choose no choice. Because what happens is you don't want to get locked in or committed or obligated to anything that is not needed or necessary. I had this talk with Taurus too. At what point, with certain obligations that you have already ongoing, at what point do those obligations become fulfilled? At what point do those promises, where's the line there, right? And so you don't want to get yourself into any more obligations if you're feeling unsure if that's what you really want. So the fact is, the more free you can keep yourself at this time, and the more unattached, the more untethered, the better, because you have no idea what the next 6, 7, 8 month is going to give you. And I think you need the flexibility, you need the freedom to let the downpour happen, right? That huge, major rain, the rain clouds. I'm thinking specifically of the Serengeti, right? Just those huge rain, just such crazy rain, getting that whole cycle going. And I think that's the force that Gemini has right now, if you want that level of force. It's great for starting new businesses, and it's great for new relationships. It's great for families. It's great for relocation, all that kind of stuff. Just go for it. And then we have the Nine of Wands, which is protective, okay? But you have to be careful with this kind of protection, especially when it comes out with the Lovers card, okay? Because the Sun back here is still the Sun, right? So any card that has an image of the Sun has that kind of golden touch to it, all right? In my opinion, for whatever that's worth. And so I see the Lovers card, and I see it as a blessing. The Sun, right, our biggest node of consciousness that we have in our solar system, right, this really intelligent entity, always watching out for us, always looking out for us, helping us, illuminating our path. We have the angel, which we can, say it's, the archangels or your guides, your helpers, your kind of counsel, okay, the people that you can talk to. And they want you to shine. They want you to be limitless. They want you to be free and open and experiential and experimental as well. And they want you to just go, right? But when we start setting these kind of barriers, sometimes what happens is we just sort of find ourselves in our own little prison that we created for ourselves, right? I'm trying so hard to protect myself from you that I put up this wall, and then all of a sudden I'm in a room surrounded by all these walls, and now I can't get out. So the goal is to set boundaries with your light and be so bright and to be so passionate and compassionate and so elegant in your way of being that it repels people frequent in terms of frequency, right? If their frequency doesn't match with yours, it will repel itself. So you are free and you are not tethered to a location of trying to always protect something, right? You're not tethered to that, but you let your light and your joy kind of do the protection for you. There's no need for any level of fear in whatever it is you're facing. I have a feeling some of you aren't going to know what the heck I'm talking about. And this is going to start coming to fruition, I think, as we move closer to Scorpio season, as we make our way across that border there. Because it's going to sort of amplify a lot of the Uranian energy for you. It's going to amplify the Pluto and Saturn stuff for you too. And in Scorpio season, as Jupiter moves into Capricorn as well, you're going to start feeling like, oh damn, like it is time. See, it's all going to work out great. There's no reason to be scared in any way, shape, or form. There's no reason to be resistant or hesitant. See, the one thing about a Queen of Cups knows, I kind of see her as my mama bear energy. It's like when she has an idea or a child, something that she has created or wants to create, that force of the mother instinct is undeniable. Highest force of any force that ever could be is that protection of an idea, that protection of a goal, that protection of an ambition. And I see her taking on the mama bear quality and saying, you know what, this is just what I want. This is what my soul is calling me to do. And I'm going to stop at nothing because I know that it's taking me someplace that is closer to, higher understanding, more fulfillment, more satisfaction, more joy, and it is that is worth protecting. I think the cleaning of stuff, right, has been so intense for a lot of people, getting rid of so many things, getting rid of toxic people, toxic relationships, leaving toxic jobs. Like the amount of people I do private readings for of like, yeah, I'm trying to, get all this stuff out of my life, but then what's coming next? It's really more about the cleaning right now, right? Next year is going to be about inviting all that stuff in, but there might still be things that you need to completely erase from your kind of programming that will benefit you greatly in the years to come. And the universe is giving you time to figure out what it is and to figure out how to get rid of it. So enjoy the time it's taking to release the old stuff, because the benefits, the 10 of Cups, the joy and the satisfaction that is to come is going to be like such high level that you're not going to really realize that it was possible, right? You're going to be surprised that this level of fulfillment was even possible. Gemini on the rise. No self-sabotage. I think all of those patterns and habits and the toxic people, and they're all just going by the wayside. They are. And I don't see Gemini putting up with stuff anymore. I see fluidity with your life, but rigidity with bad behavior from others, okay? From advantageous, opportunistic behavior from others. And those people are going to get left behind so fast, right? And Gemini is moving on. That's one of the things that I think is scary for a lot of people who are cross-watching for Gemini, is like, where is my Gemini going? The thing is if you have lived up to the good things, right, then you will absolutely be in your Gemini's close circle. However, any Gemini who is toxic or struggling or having a really hard time with stepping into their power, they might go a little too far overboard in this protection mode and just keep everything out, both positive and negative, right? Both positive energy and negative. They might keep everything out because they're still trying to figure out, what the best thing is. And they just may simply not know, or they may be overreactive to things, overreactive to people, and push people away out of their own feelings of insecurity because they don't realize that right now is a time where they have to be really, really strong. When people don't realize when it's a time to be strong and to power through stuff, when they don't realize that, it can be really disastrous, because they can make, cut out the wrong people, keep the wrong people and cut out the wrong people. You know what I mean? Or like, what I mean is they keep the kind of toxic people close to them, and then they push out the really positive influences in their life. They could be doing the opposite thing of what they should be doing, because the toxic people is familiar, keeps them safe, and the right people challenge them. The right people force them to step up, and they're just simply too scared to step up. So if you're dealing with a Gemini like that, it's probably best for you to just say, okay, bye, Gemini, right? Like, goodbye. I'm not going to deal with this, because clearly you're not seeing how this is really unfolding for you. This is big picture kind of stuff, but anyone caught in a tunnel vision right now, probably anyone caught in a tunnel vision is going to feel real lost. All right. So in the grand scheme of things, in this whole kind of new 7-year cycle that we've got going on with Uranus in the 12th, we're just in the beginning stages of this, right? So this is all preparatory for major revision. So it's good, but also can be really scary for some people. So let's go ahead and switch the view. If you want to see the cards that will come out in the comprehensive reading, you're welcome to continue watching. If not, then I will see you guys next month for Scorpio season, which will be a very interesting reading, I'm sure. So I hope you have an excellent rest of Libra season, and I'll see you soon. Bye. All right, Gemini. I'm going to focus a little bit on the Queen of Cups, since this is you, and I'm going to pull out a couple oracles. We're going to start with the Threads of Fate oracle. Any additional information that Gemini... Okay. Ooh, get creative. This came out for someone else too. I think it was Taurus. Get creative. And as one of the signs of the zodiac that is inherently creative, okay, this is not going to be a challenge for you. And that's one of the things is, like I was saying, when that huge rainfall comes and a barrier, as this water is barreling down the side of a mountain, and it comes up across trees and, boulders and all these obstacles, it just simply goes around. And I think that the creative quality is more about not trying to barrel down obstacles right now, but merely just to go around them. And I think your personal networks, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm looking at the Lovers card here. I'm like, your personal networks plays a big part in this too. Like if someone is not living up to certain expectations, I see you kind of just going and finding somebody else. And there's not a lot of thought. There's not a lot of there's no drudgery. There's no clinging. There's no attachment here. It's just like, okay, well, we're going to go this way instead. Boom, 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 boom. It's one of the things people struggle with Gemini, because they can so easily switch gears. Boom, 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 boom. And they can, mold and, be flexible and this and more so than like any other sign with, I would say, Sagittarius and Pisces are kind of up there too with the mutability and just that ability to switch gears, and I think people have a hard time staying caught up with you, and they're going to have a hard time staying caught up with you at this time. And I know that the Hermit is coming out, and there's kind of like a, very old soul wisdom aspect coming through. I know that. It doesn't mean it's not moving though. It doesn't mean there's stagnation. It doesn't mean things aren't happening, because they are. You're just operating from an old soul place. Okay? So when we pull out this animal card, this is the Divine Animals Oracle. Ooh, stop it. The snake, which is all about creation. See, I just don't think you guys realize what you're creating right now. I don't think you realize, I don't think you see. And even if you have an endeavor that you're kind of moving forward towards, it's so, look at how beautiful. It's like a heart, right? With the tree of life coming through, with the serpents kind of circling around it. The snake being a symbol of expression. And because that's your whole thing, right? The talking, communication, even with the lovers, it is about expression. What kind of a mark do you want to leave in this world, Gemini? What kind of a legacy do you want to leave? What kind of story and message do you want people to say about you, right? How do you want to touch people's hearts? One of the things that I'll always remember was an interview that I was watching once with Oprah. And I'm like kind of just recently like an Oprah, I don't know, fan, I guess. I really like some of her interviews that she gives with really awesome people. But there was an interview with her, and I guess she was talking to, I think it was her friend Maya Angelou, right, the poet. And they were talking about Oprah's legacy and how, you know, okay, giving things away and doing this and entertaining people in the show and building these big businesses and all this. And my friend was like, yeah, but you understand that this is not your legacy, right? And Oprah was like, what do you mean? She's like, the legacy is not just the people that you communicate with directly, but you talk to these people and it changes them in just the slightest. And as they go throughout the world, that little change in that person then permeates to every single person that they come in contact with for the rest of their lives. And that was a powerful message for me because, you know, you don't really think of your legacy being like that. You normally think of your legacy as being something that, you know, it's tangible and you can, you know, give to your kids when you pass on and all of this. But I think Gemini is coming in contact with their legacy, right? 8th house stuff. Estates and wills and what gets left behind after death. As weird and dramatic as that is, that's a part of it. What is your legacy, Gemini? What are you going to create? What are you going to contribute to this planet? It's big. I know it's big. Sorry. I know my readings always get so huge and all of that, but sometimes they have to be big. Because the small stuff is just small stuff. Wow. Okay. Hermit's big. One more for Hermit. Okay, excellent. Okay, 7 of Cups reversed. Let's take a look. Okay. Interesting. I think Gemini's getting a little bit more honest than normal. More honest with themselves, especially for one of the first things I talked about, but also with others. Ooh, 7 of Wands. Okay. For those of you who are new to my channel, these cards I talk about in the comprehensive, so the link will be in the description box down below. I usually talk for another 20 to 25 minutes about the cards that we pull out here. I just pull them out so y'all can see kind of what we're going to talk about and where the story goes. Sometimes the story takes a 90-degree turn, so it can be a little bit different sometimes. Wow, guys, Justice and the Chariot. Okay. Yeah. There's a reason that strength comes out. There's something in your life that you're going to need to be strong to leave behind. You know, and I think the desire to not leave it behind is a lot more strong than the desire to leave it behind. It could be a social circle. I am seeing a lot of social activity, like I said before, so this could be in terms of friends. Ooh, Lovers comes out twice. Could be in terms of relationships, professional networks, all those kinds of things. Major, major, major revision to the script here. You certainly have an earth sign around you. A Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. I think they're good for you. Earth signs are good for you, but they're going to challenge you right now. They're going to push your buttons. They're going to force you to really look deeper. And they're not holding any punches, but I think it's appreciated to an extent. Your initial instinct is going to be to fight it. Your initial instinct is going to be to kind of hide away, because this is the perfect story of someone who doesn't really want to live into their divinity, to become magical, to become alchemists, and I'm not saying you have to go and build a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? That's not what this whole message is about. This whole message is about contribution, right? And being happy. Some of us have become so comfortable in a state of being, right? Eight of Cups came out twice. Some of us are so comfortable in our unhappiness that we can't even fathom a life of joy. And that's, the sad part. I think that's just humanity in general, right? It's especially certain cultures. Okay, one more for the snake card. Okay, the Hierophant, and then bottom of the deck we have the Six of Cups. So this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, the link will be down below. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.